What a beautiful ball. Now it's Cristiano Ronaldo with a chance maybe to seal it, and he has taken it. Lahm in all kinds of space. Lahm, Muller through Muller, could be embarrassing. It's three. Tony Kroos. Olivier Giroud. Barkley's found Klein with a speedy burst, and that's terrific from Vardy. Oh, what a goal by Jamie Vardy.
Hello and welcome to #TFHP Euros, the Football Hipsters podcast. I'm your host John. Chris is not with us tonight. He's having another night off. He's being a bit of a diva lately. So I'm taking the reins for tonight. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Canton. Good evening, Tom.
What's up?
And Mr. Bramble. Good evening, Ross.
Evening.
Evening all. So we are here to talk about the first semi-final from the Euros, Portugal versus Wales. Portugal finishing 2-0 winners. Not the greatest game to watch, sadly. I think everyone's more excited for tomorrow's game, to be perfectly honest. But decent result for Portugal, obviously. It was the sort of billed as the Ronaldo versus Bale show. One of them showed up briefly, the other didn't. Tom, what was your thoughts on the game?
I mean, I actually had to preview this for them from my website, but I said that it wasn't going to be billed as much as the Bale versus Ronaldo anymore, because what the two teams have showed is that this tournament is that they are more than just Bale and Ronaldo. I mean, obviously Wales were at a disadvantage as soon as the game kicked off. I think we saw that without Ramsey, that they really were quite handicapped in the match, and they lost the energy and incisive passing and running that he brings, and that was key throughout the game and why they were outrunning midfield in general. But I said on the last pod when I thought Portugal would win was that Ronaldo will come good eventually. He's got too much quality not to do that, and he showed that, and I just couldn't understand why they put Chester on Ronaldo. It was a strange tactic and really didn't pay off, obviously, because he scored. So there was a lot of questions about the defending. There was a lot of defensive questions for the second goal with Williams and Collins. So it's a few mistakes that have cost them, but I think if you offered Wales semi-final before the tournament started, they'd bite your arm off for it and your other one. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, Wales will be pleased with how they did throughout the tournament. I did feel a little bit, though, like they didn't really perform to their best tonight. Ross, you've been watching Wales throughout, you've been our UK correspondent, as Chris likes to call you. I thought Wales were a bit disappointed tonight. Obviously, they were missing Aaron Ramsey, which was a big loss for them. But they just didn't really seem to test Portugal, and they looked like they were there for the taking. They looked like if Wales were on form, they could have beaten them tonight.
Yeah, there was a distinct lack of quality on both sides, I think. I think the big key was Aaron Ramsey missing, because there was a huge disconnect between the back line and the front line. Unlike in previous games, they didn't have that outlet to just break free. Bale was shut down well. Howard and Carney didn't get much room, and the three midfielders they've got are all kind of holding midfielders or ball-winning midfielders. So there was a big disconnect, and it just kind of just seemed to shut everything down in midfield, the way the three holding midfielders are playing. So, yeah, I mean, Wales were very, very disappointing from my eyes. The team cohesion was there, and they didn't seem to get too upset when the first goal went in. But as soon as the second one went in, it kind of looked like they'd resigned to it until like the last 10 minutes or so. So I can't say I was overly impressed with Wales. I can't say I was overly impressed with Portugal either. But I think Ramsey was a huge loss tonight, and one they didn't really recover from.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. They brought in Andy King to sort of play the Aaron Ramsey role. I understand, because he can do those late runs into the box and get onto the end of things and knockdowns and stuff. But it felt to me that maybe Johnny Williams might have been a better choice to start in that position, just because he is a bit more mobile and a little bit more creative. I don't know whether you guys were thinking along the same lines at all. Or...
Well, on the basis of that game, I would have fully agreed they needed something a bit more fluid to just, like I say, help the back line and the front line connect. But yeah, King was an okay choice. I just don't think he did the Ramsey role very well. He seemed to be sitting back a lot more often. He popped up a couple of occasions in the first half, but he didn't seem to be doing enough for me. And then in the second half, he kind of dropped back even further. So yeah, I would have gone with Johnny Williams on the basis of that game. Yeah.
Tom, coming back to Portugal, Ronaldo has. Well, I don't know if he's got stick as such, but a lot of people have said he hasn't really turned up this tournament, which I think has been fair. He got a goal tonight, very good header. He's trademarked sort of how he hangs in the air for so long is unbelievable. But like you said, there was some strange marking on that corner. I think Collins had been marking Ronaldo up to that point and been dealing with him pretty well in the air. What do you make of Ronaldo's performances in the tournament so far? He's still, I'm still expecting more from him. Are we asking too much from a player because we know what he can do, or is it just down to the fact that Portugal overall, I don't think they've really impressed anyone, and a lot of the blame then gets chucked onto his shoulders?
Yeah, I think the expectation is there, and for good reason. But the thing is, I think the guy at the end of the day is shattered. After playing the season for Real Madrid and on to a Champions League final where he wasn't fit, and that's had a huge effect on his Euro performances up to this point. I thought this was probably his best game, up and offensively and defensively. He was back doing a job as well, and I think that in the final it sets him up pretty well for it. He'll take a lot of confidence. I said he'd take a lot of confidence forward from leading the team in the penalty shootout in their last game. So he'll build on that in this game, and going forwards it'll be good. But he does get a lot of stick from what I mean. Me being me, put a little cheeky poll out on Twitter just to see with the whole Messi thing that's gone on, to see if, say, Portugal were to win this European Championships, would that class as Ronaldo being better than Messi? Now, for me, in a technical sense, no. But if you look back over the careers, I'd probably say that Ronaldo's probably had a more successful career, seeing he's done it in the Premier League and now in Spain, and if he does it on the international stage, he's got that one as well. So he's a top player, and a lot of people complain that he just poaches goals. Well, if it was that simple, everyone would do it. So I really like the player, and I think that he will go on into the final with a lot more confidence and show the world what he can do.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, there's no denying how good a player he is. He's fantastic. I don't know what it is. I just cannot stand the bloke. It's the celebration and the chest pumping out. And don't get me wrong, if I had a physique like that, I'd walk around with just my pants on all the time and just be pointing, look at me. That will clearly never happen. And he's worked very hard for it, and there's no doubting his ability. But yeah, so I was obviously cheering Wales on tonight, but yeah, whoever gets through to the final, I'm sorry, Portugal, and if we've got any Portuguese listeners, I can't stand Ronaldo. I don't know what it is. Anyway, moving back to Wales, Ross, this Welsh team, obviously they've been together for a long time, sort of through the lower tiers, lower age groups, and moving up now, and there is a real connectiveness and togetherness, and they seem to really back Chris Coleman, and I think, other than sort of towards the end of the game where they kind of lost their way a little bit when they went 2-0 down, they are fairly, very well organised, and they all support him and his idea and everything to get behind it. Do you think they can use this to sort of springboard on as a footballing nation anyway? Because they were disregarded, obviously, for decades, and now they really seem to have leaped ahead, almost, in very real terms, ahead of England, in fact. So is this a good basis to build on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll definitely feel like they can qualify for the World Cup based on this tournament. I think the best way you can put it is that fans that have watched them, even English fans, Irish fans, Scottish fans, even from outside of Europe, we feel like we've connected with the Wales squad. If we already feel like that, we really want to see them go through. Even the neutrals, they were all pro Wales in this game. If the fan base can feel like that and they don't even have an emotional connection to Wales, then I can only imagine what it does for Welsh supporters, Welsh players, the management, the staff. So absolutely, this could be a huge moment in their international standing. Hopefully, they'll be reflected in the FIFA standings. And I can't see any reason why they wouldn't feel like the World Cup isn't beyond them.
Yeah, I think we all echo that and hope they can definitely get there. There'd definitely be a plus for the tournament if they do. Now, sadly, there wasn't really a lot to talk about in the game in terms of chances or anything else. So I just want to sort of touch on tomorrow's game and talk about what we think will happen there. Obviously, Portugal through to the final now, which is on Sunday night, and they will face either Germany or France. Either of you got a feeling either way, which who you think this is going to go for, or maybe who Portugal would prefer to face?
I'll drop it. I just think that Germany will get it. I think we discussed on the past pod, and my opinion hasn't changed on it, that Germany's defence is slightly better than France's, and that will be what sees them through. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see what Deschamps does in terms of the formation. Would he stick with what he had against Iceland? It wasn't as defensively solid in midfield without Kante there, but it was better offensively. And does he play with Griezmann just off Giroud, or does he go back into a midfield three and an attacking three? Personally, I would keep the attacking lineup it is, go for the 4-4-2, which goes to a 4-2-4 when attacking, with Coman and Payet on the wings, with Griezmann and Giroud up front, and I'd swap out Matuidi for Kante and bring Pogba in next to him and get the best off him that way, playing off him. So it'll come down to that, but Germany, I think, have the slight edge. Obviously, losing Mario Gomez is a big loss, and you'll probably see Muller come in. I think Gertz is not out, is it? But someone else is out as well. I can't remember who it is. Do you remember who it is? It's Mario Gomez is out and someone else is out.
That's Hummels, I think, is out.
Is Hummels out?
I think he's suspended for the game.
Yeah,
so
it is
I
Hummels,
assume it will be Benedict Howard would come in alongside Boateng, I would have thought.
Kimmich and Hector will be on each side. So still, Hovedus has had a decent tournament when he's played as well, even though he's not been playing at centre back. He's a good defender, and they've got enough quality to get through, I think. And France, it will be down to if their attacking players do perform.
Ross, similar feeling to you? You hedging for Germany on this one?
Yeah, I think I'm mainly in the same camp as Tom there. I think it will be Germany, because I think the team overall is better. But you can't discount the home advantage, and they do have some very, very good attacking players up front to France. So it wouldn't surprise me either way. But I can't see past Germany myself.
Yeah. I think it's all three of us are for Germany. Sorry, Chris, I know you're not here. Chris will obviously be championing France, cheering them on, Les Blues.
Drew with Germany.
Drew will be with Germany. Yes, sorry, Drew was. I must mention actually, Drew was supposed to be on tonight, but he couldn't make it sadly because some family commitments came up at the last minute. But he will be on tomorrow night. For Drew's sake anyway, I hope he's cheering a Germany victory for him. Cheer him up a bit. Now I've got to do the hipster of the day from you both. I'm really struggling to pick one myself. There's one or two, but I didn't think anyone particularly stood out. So, Tom, who was your hipster of the day?
I thought, and Ross is going to like this, I thought Font was very good in the game, to be honest. He was very solid at centre-back, heading things away, had chances from corners and deputised. I know, obviously, Bruno Alves was the one that came in for Pepe, but Pepe has been such a defensive anchor for them in the last two matches that it was a lot of responsibility on Font to step up as the best centre-back, and I think they did that excellently. So when you're going up against either France or Germany in the final, you're going to need someone like Font to come in and do that, and I'm sure Ross will be very happy with his performances and looking forward to next season as well. So for me, I'm going to go for Font.
Good shout. Ross, who was your pick?
Exactly the same. I could be accused of bias, I appreciate, but I don't think it's coincidence that the Portuguese back line was a shambles all the way through the group stage, and then Font and Suarez come in, and suddenly it looked very, very solid in the last two games. I know they've changed it again with Pepe going out, but I don't think it's coincidence that Font being in there has changed it. He is such a good leader, such a good centre-back, and as a Southampton fan that saw him come in 2010, was it 2011? I forget which one now, but in League One, back in the League One days. Seeing him come in with the floppy hair and the bit of the youthful eyes, now seeing him as the chiselled old defender leading his country to the European finals, I think it's fantastic for Southampton, for him, and for Portugal. So for me, it's fun. Yeah,
well, that makes it very easy for me because I don't have to argue over which one it is. So Jose Font is our hipster of the day. Did I say that right? Is it Jose or Jose?
It's Jose Font.
Jose, isn't it? It's Jose's Spanish. Jose's. I always get that.
To be fair, you could have said Suarez as well, because I thought he had an excellent game as well. And it's ironic seeing that Bruno Alves was on the pitch and Bale tried to do his best impression of him against Cedric. So, that was quite amusing.
I also thought Danilo as well in midfield, sort of the unsung role that William Carvalho normally plays. I thought he was quite good there. He stopped the a lot of the Welsh midfield trying to break into the box.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought he was decent.
Yeah, I think that's a point to make, actually. We've been talking about how much of a loss Ramsey was. Well, William Carvalho for Portugal has been brilliant for them defensively, and people have moaned about Portugal's defence, and as Ross said, they've been helped by bringing in Font and Cedric in. So the fact they brought in Danilo and he's performed is something the Welsh didn't really have with someone else who came in. I think we saw Andy King come in, but he did not have the same desired effect as what Ramsey would have had on the pitch, and I think Carvalho's has gone out and Danilo's come in and done an excellent job.
Yeah, is that something perhaps we've underrated a little bit? Because we haven't exactly been sort of high in our praises of Portugal throughout the tournament, because this is the first game they've won in 90 minutes, and they're now into the final, which is just ridiculous when you think about it. But you know, they've not been amazing, but to get that far in a tournament is certainly an achievement, and to do it that well. And against, you know, no one really fancied Wales to get to the final, I don't think, but there's still a team that have been putting in very, very good performances throughout, so perhaps they do deserve a little bit more praise.
Ross, go on.
Apparently not. Just complete silence. No, they don't deserve any.
Set us up and we all missed it. Yeah. For me, I don't think Portugal have been good since day one. I felt very, very mediocre, and I think the reason you don't give some of these players enough credit is because when they come in, the team is still mediocre. You know, there's no visible difference in the team with the new players in. The only ones that really stood out were the ones in the back line, because the Portuguese defence was so poor in the group stages. He absolutely deserves credit, but yeah, I mean, it just feels so flat and listless across the whole tournament for me with Portugal. There's no standout single player except for the ones that came into the back line, so it would have been very difficult for me to pull them up, because yeah, for me it's not like he changed much. You know, he did the same job, which is great, but it's not like he did anything stand out. He just did the exact same job as I would have expected. Previous player whose name has completely eluded me, same job as I expected he would have done.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Even tonight's game, Portugal looked okay once they were 2-0 up, but the two goals sort of came from nowhere, because they certainly weren't really pushing for them. Neither team seemed to really want to go forwards too much, and I actually thought Wales had the sort of better half chances before that, other than Ronaldo's one header. That was really it. But yeah, there we go. So sadly there wasn't a lot to talk about on tonight's game, so it will be a slightly shorter pod than usual. Not massively surprising. Tomorrow's game will hopefully be a lot more exciting to watch. Excuse me. And there'll be a lot more to discuss. So as we've all got Germany to go through against France tomorrow, prediction for the final: Portugal-Germany. Are we all saying the Germans?
If they get through, I can't see Portugal beating them. Although, this is so bad, because you all got to go into me how much you hate Portugal and whatnot. But I really want to see Ronaldo win an international tournament. I just would like to see it, because I like him. A lot of people just despise him, and I completely understand. A lot of things go back to that was Euro 2004 with the wink and whatnot. So was that 2006? Was that 2006?
2004, I'm sure it was.
2004? Or no, it was 2004 when Rooney got injured, and then 2000. Oh, I can't remember.
2004, Rooney scored.
I've slept since then.
Yeah. So, but
I'm not England's biggest fan anyway, so that never really bothered me. I just didn't like Ronaldo. It's not that I dislike Portugal. Got no problem with Portugal. It's just Ronaldo. Yeah. It's his grinning face and the look at me thing. Oh, I hate it.
But Ross, surely, considering there's two Southampton players in that Portugal side, wouldn't you like to see Portugal win it?
For the record, it was 2006. I've just searched it. Yes, I would. I'm fully Portugal. I don't think they'll win. I think Germany will. But at the start, in the preview pods, I said we're going to get a new winner, or at least a surprise winner. Portugal are my only hope now. And also, yeah, it's great to see Jose Font in there, and Cedric he plays like a different player for the Portuguese side. The Cedric Suarez that I'm watching at the moment is completely different from the one that Ronald Koeman was coaching last season. So yeah, I'd love to see Portugal win it, but I just can't see past Germany. So I'm all for Portugal winning it, but I just can't see them beating Germany.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. It'd be funny they get the whole way through the tournament and then finally put in a real performance in the final when it actually matters. Well, not that it hasn't mattered in the other knockout rounds, but they've managed to get through. So yeah, maybe Portugal will be the surprise new winner. At least you got a new finalist, isn't it? Have they been? I don't think they've been finalists before, have they?
Yeah, they have. They've lost to Greece.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
That was
they wanna make
2004.
That was
That was
2000,
Spurs.
yeah. 2004 was when Rooney he played really well and then got the injury, and everyone went, oh, well, that's it, ruined. And he never had a good international tournament after that.
Yeah. I can't remember the striker that scored. I forgot. Yeah, so that's a hipster question, right? There was a striker that scored because they did the interview on BBC with him, and I can't remember who he was, but no, because it was just funny because it was just so billed as like, oh, okay, Portugal going to win their first tournament, and then so.
Yeah, there you go. That's how much happened in tonight's game that we had to talk about the 2004 final, which none of us can remember properly.
Angelos Karistias
Oh, well, there you go.
scored the winner.
See,
Ross knew
That's what
that.
we
He
get
did
Ross
not
on
look
for.
that up at all. He knew that off the top of his head. Absolutely.
Not looking at a grainy, old 2004 BBC Sports website at all. No, sir.
my dad got Greece in that sweepstake that year.
That's pretty lucky. I
only
got
got
Italy in the
20 quid.
2006 World Cup sweepstake. That was very nice. I was very happy
Nice.
with that. Yeah.
Look where this pod is going.
Anyway, right, yeah. So, as I say, yeah, shorter pod tonight. It will be a bit longer tomorrow, and Chris should be back tomorrow as well. If not, it will be either myself or Tom hosting tomorrow, I assume. But yeah, that's all from us tonight. Thank you again for everyone who's been listening throughout the tournament. For all the tweets we've been getting, loads of new followers as well. It's been really great. Lots of you retweeting our stuff. I know I've had plenty of fun when I've been using the Twitter account and interacting with everyone, and I know Tom and Ross and everyone else has as well. So thank you again for all your listenings. If you want to give us a little review on iTunes, that'd be nice, as that's all working again now. Thanks again, Kat, and Mark J. Fine as well for helping out with that. But yeah, you can find us YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, all the usual places, and our website. But yeah, so it's just for me to say now, keep your pipe stoked and your satchel clean. I didn't even have it written down this time, I just remembered it. It's amazing. We have been the Football Hipsters, and we will be back tomorrow with Germany vs.
A match winner. Is this the moment? It is. Divock Origi. There and a killer. And they now have the breakthrough. Fail. To Greener.